Lightning experience. If you will click on this link, you will be able to switch into your lightning experience, right? So this is the lightning UI. Here you can see your objects, right? And if you will click on a tab, every tab you can see is related to an object. An object is nothing just a database table. As we discussed, Salesforce database is not directly accessible to you guys, and you can access it through the Salesforce object, and Salesforce object can be accessed using these tabs. So these are the object in which you can save your data, edit your data, and use as and when required. So you can see if I'm clicking on opportunity, you can see this is called list view, and you can see the record. Those are coming directly from Salesforce database table, and in Salesforce term, these are coming from Salesforce objects. So here you can see multiple filters are there. So if you will click on all opportunity, there is no filter. You will see all the data that we have in this object, but you can still see other options here. These are the options in which we have filters. Let's say closing next month, so we must have a filter in which the close date of the opportunity is next month. So this is the sales application, and we discussed in last class as well what is in sales application. So um, as we discussed in last class, Salesforce is divided into multiple modules, and those we called as sales cloud, service cloud, marketing cloud, experience cloud, health cloud, commerce cloud. There are multiple things. So cloud means like this entire software is on cloud only, but cloud means they have a particular functionality and their related settings, and you can access those using an app. You can create you can customize this entire UI, what you can see on this UI, into apps. So currently you can see the sales app. In the sales app, you know what is the sales cycle. So every time you start with the sales cycle, we'll always say like first you will get a lead, and then whenever you convert a lead, it converts into opportunity, account, and contact. And then further, you you will contact to your sales team, and they will contact to your prospect customers. And if they are actually interested in your product, then the further cycle will come in the picture, like product, what they want to buy it, if order, and other objects in here, right? And if your customer is already bought your product, you can simply see all the service things that you will provide to your customer, right? Services like what all are the services if they are having any question or they need any service from you. If their product is not behaving perfectly, then they need to contact you. So you can see once you will switch to service app, it will show you the things related to your service team, right? Similarly, there are other apps, so you can also create. So these are the standard applications provided by Salesforce. Apps are nothing just a container. So the related UI will be displayed. So let's say if you have an HR team and marketing team and sales team, so the user that is belong to a particular team, if that user will log in here, they will see a similar kind of environment, similar kind of things. Those are related to their department, right? So that is why we have apps. So these are the app. But as a system administrator, if you want to customize this thing, this software, right, you have to always focus on this gear icon, right? You have to click on this gear icon. So this UI is related to your users. So if you will click on account, contact, cases, report, dashboard, everything is related to your users. But as a developer or as an admin, you will focus on um, to customize or configuration of this software, right? So in order to do that, you have to click on this gear icon, and this gear icon will help you to do that, will give you the option to customize this software. So let's say if I will click on this gear icon, you will see there are multiple options here. we'll discuss one by one. Currently we will discuss setup. When we will discuss service cloud, we'll discuss this service setup, and then we'll discuss Salesforce Go and developer console and other things, right? So now I'm just clicking on setups. You just need to focus on this setup for 80% or 90% of your time. Just click on this and you will see the entire UI is now changed. So now this UI is for developers. You can see the developer edition is our software edition, and this entire UI is now customized for developers or system admins, right? So here you will see a lot of options that you can utilize in order to customize or configure this software, right? Any question till now? No? Good. So you can see, let's say I gave you an example. If you have um, let's say if you have 50 users in your company, and all these 50 users, for all these 50 users you need a Salesforce access, right? They all need to use this software. So you will ask Salesforce to provide you the 50 user license, and you will create some users as soon as the requirement will come, and some license will stay in your software. So you need to check how many licenses are remaining. I mean, how many more users you can create in this software. So uh, I mean, you can do that. And how you will be able to do this? You can simply click on quick find box, and here you can type company information. Here in the company information option, if you will click on company information option, you will see a lot of options here. Your organization name, your primary contact of the organization who actually contacted with Salesforce at the time of this or creation, address of the admin and the company basically, and the fiscal year start in January. So financial year, generally in US, it is start from January and will end in December. So it is based on your company, which financial they follow. But in India, we follow from March to April. So sorry, from April to March, right? So there are some other information we have here, and default local, default language, and default time zone. Currency local, what is the currency? Use data space. So in this developer edition, how much space we have. So that is there, and how much we have used. So we have currently used 12% of the allocation, right? And if you want to store any file, then there are subtract 17 KB files you can use. API request, this is related to the development. So when we will learn integration, we will see what it is. And same for streaming API, restricted login, don't we will not discuss it right now. Salesforce.com organization ID, it is important. So this is the unique ID that you have for this particular org. So you guys have your own Salesforce org. So if you will see in your own Salesforce org, this ID is unique for everyone, right? So just try to log in your org and see if this ID is unique for you. So every time if you need any assistance from Salesforce, you will show them this ID, so they will know on which org you are working. So they can help you based on this ID. They can log in your org, and they can help you. So you can see if you want to deactivate your org, there's an option here. And if you want to change any settings from these, you can simply click on edit, or whatever you can change, you can do that, right? Now the next step is the next part of this company information is user license. This is the one that I was talking about. So here in the Salesforce licenses, this is the important license. So if you will ask Salesforce, like we need 50 licenses. So here only you will see, the total license. Let's say if they will allocate 50 licenses, you will see the 50 as number here in the total licenses, right? It is a developer free edition, so you can see only 2 licenses are available. I mean, you can create maximum 2 users, right? Use licenses. So if you will create a user, uh, so that user count will be minus in the total licenses, and that will appear here. So let's say 50 user total licenses, and if you will create 25, then the remaining user will be 25, right? So total licenses minus used licenses will be the remaining license. So if you will utilize all 50 licenses, then you have to ask Salesforce to give you more, and you have to purchase them if you need more user to create, right? So there are other user licenses, those are coming as free. So these are the licenses, those are not having the entire org access. They are for a purpose. Let's say if a chatter license is there, so we have a Salesforce social media in which you can create chatter licenses, right? So those are free. So I mean, you don't have to pay any fees for this, right? Post.com free licenses, so you just need to create users for your site, and other licenses are there. So you can see here, but these licenses are coming with your actual Salesforce licenses. You just need to buy these Salesforce licenses at once. You just need to pay for Salesforce licenses. But other licenses we will discuss as soon as we will progress with this course. So as you can see, I have created total 2 users in this org, and both the users now occupied. I mean, total licenses were 2, and I have created 2, so remaining license is 0. So I cannot create any further user in this software, right? There is one more thing that you need to remember. One is once you will create a user, it cannot be deleted in Salesforce. So if you will create a user, remember that this user data will always within your org. You can deactivate a user, but you cannot delete a user. That's the important thing, right? So there are 2 things that you can do within Salesforce. Once you will create a user, and if that user is leaving your company, you have to, disable the access of that user. So there are 2 things that you can do. One is you can freeze the user. So let's say if there is a transition period, if somebody has joined in place of that user, so you have to transit the data from one user to another. So in that scenario, you will freeze the user. So freezing means that particular user will not be able to access this org, but its data will be accessible to other users. So but if you will deactivate the user, data will not also be accessed by any other user. So for a period of time, we always freeze, but there is a disadvantage of freezing a user. If you will freeze a user, right, then there is a problem, like the user license will not be empty. I mean, you cannot create a new user by using that particular user license. So in order to free the user license, you have to deactivate the user. You cannot freeze the user if you want to free up your user license. Okay, so that is something that we have in the license. Any question from anyone? Guys, please raise your hand if you have any question. Other things, permission set license, feature license, and usage based entitlements. So we will discuss later on as soon as our course will progress. Okay. So now you can see how many users you have in your org. By you can simply click on users here. Here in the user section, this is a user section. If you will click on this user section, you will see these are the users, but you should always see the user license. So currently we don't have a license column here, but you can see there are 2 users. One, at a time of org sign up, this default user will be created, and there is a system administrator profile. Profile is something by which you will get the access that we have discussed already, right? And the second user that I have created here, I think this is the one that we have created, Ayushi Dhingra, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disable this user so that we can free up one license, and we can create one more user in this org to just demonstrate how you can create a user. So I'm just you can also add it here directly, but I will open it in a new tab and will show you how you can deactivate a user. You can simply click on edit, and you will see this active checkbox. This need to be deactivated if you want to deactivate the user, right? So you just click on deactive. So just read this again. it is saying like if there is anything that you have associated with this user, that will be, lost, right? So I mean, if there is any delegated group permissions, and if there is any sharing privilege or anything, those will be removed, right? Okay, let's just click on OK and just hit save. So we have deactivated this user. You can simply go to company profile, and you will see there should be one license that is free up now. So just go to company information, and you will see a license is free now. You will see now total licenses to one use license and remaining license is one. As soon as we deactivated the user, one user license is free up now. So you can use this license uh, to create a new user, to demonstrate how we can create. So, but if you will go to user, and if you will see here, um, if I will go to user, if I will click on new user button to create a new user, this profile pick list is mandatory. If you will have red, it means the mandatory things that you have. So first you need to create a profile. A profile is always, as I said, like by using profile, you will give the access, right, to that user. So before you will create a user, you have to first define what all are the access you need to give to that user. Okay. So let's go back and just create a profile first. So you will see here, there is an option in profile in the user section also. So you can click directly here, or if you are not in this section, you can simply type here the profile, and it will refine that profile link for you. But it is in the user section, right? So just click on the profile first. You cannot create a profile by scratch. These are the standard profile or the custom profile list. Whenever you will create a profile, that profile name will be available here. So there are some standard profiles provided by Salesforce, so you can utilize those if these are meeting your requirement. And if you think that you need to create a new profile, you can always create a new profile by just clicking on this new profile button. So I'm clicking on this new profile button. As I said, like, you cannot create a profile directly from scratch. You have to clone an existing profile, because you have lot of permissions on the profile. So you cannot go ahead and create each one of these permission directly from the scratch, right? So in the existing profile section, you have to choose which one you want to clone. So I mean, there is no hard and fast rule which one you want to close. You have to first decide actually which is the existing profile that is meeting, that is very close to your new profile permissions, right? But I always recommend you can use a standard user profile to clone, because that is actually having the basic Salesforce permissions, right? That you can easily modify. So you can always use this. So I'm just giving the name as, I'm giving the name, the profile name here. A profile name, you can give anything that is actually meeting your requirement. So let's say if you are creating this profile to your um, HR team, so you can give the name as HR team profile. I mean, the profile name should be close to your business requirement, right? So I'm just giving this name because this is coming in my mind right now. So you can just hit save. Here, this profile is created, and it has multiple sections that we will go through one by one. So you can see there are a lot of permissions. Those can confuse you. So let's just discuss each one of these one by one, and then we will discuss further things, right? How we can utilize this software with our requirement. Okay. So the first thing that is coming as page layout. So you can see there is a section page layout, and there is a standard object page layout, and there should be some custom object page layout here, right? So every time you will see a word called standard, it means whatever is provided by Salesforce at time of along with this Salesforce, this software, right? So when you bought this software from Salesforce, they created this sock to you and they will give you some functionality by default, right? So everything that is coming by default, that is standard. And if you are creating anything for to just meet your company requirement, that will be called as custom, right? So this is how you can categorize between standard and custom, right? So standard object layout is something that Salesforce has given to you. And now the question will raise is what is an object layout, right? So object layouts is nothing but whenever a user wants to put some information and or want to give some input, that will be saved in database, right? So they will use a layout to put that information. So if I will go back and if I will go to any app, as we discussed, we need to go to an app in order to, see the UI, the user interface, right? So here you can see we have a lot of tabs, and every tab is actually belonging to a database table or an object in Salesforce, right? So if I will click on account, and if I want to insert one more record, I can see there are a lot of records are here. But if I want to insert a new record in this table, right? So what I need to do, I just need to click on this new button. And as soon as I will click on this new button, just ignore this screen, right? We'll let you know what it is. So if you will click on this button, this particular screen will appear. So if a user wants to create an account, they have to fill this form, and they need to click on save. As soon as they will click on save, a new account record will be created, right? So this form is actually related to the page layout. So every time a user is actually filling this form, this is the layout. So now, based on the profile, a single object can have multiple layout for different user base. So you can decide based on the profile permission which kind of layout will be displayed at time of the click of this new button, right? So you can manage those things directly from profile. So that is why it is coming on object wise. So let's say on account object, we just saw the account object here. So now on the account object, view assignment base, and you can see what all are the which particular page layout is assigned to this user profile, and based on that you can access that, right? Similarly, there are other objects here, opportunity. I mean, I'm just telling you the related name, the orders that we discussed, right? So there are multiple standard object provided by Salesforce, so you can manage which page layout will come whenever the user will click on the new button, right? And there are some custom object profile page layouts also that you can manage. So this is the page layout section, and by using this section you can manage which layout will be displayed at time of the new button click. Now the field level security. So every time in every database table, we have a combination of row and column. So column actually, based on the column, you can decide what all are the information you want to save. So let's say we have a student table, and in student table you want to store the roll number of the student, name of the student, phone number of the student, address of the student, which course they belongs to, and other information of the student. So you have to create uh, each and every column. Let's say if name will be one column, address will be the second column, like you do with the Excel sheet, right? In Excel, if you want to put some information, you have to first create the column related to that information, and row will be decided at time of entering a row. You have to put the information based on the column, right? So field we call column as in field here. So as we discussed it many times, you cannot directly access Salesforce database in Salesforce, and you can access through Salesforce object. We call Salesforce object as in Salesforce database table. We will discuss as soon as this course will progress. We will discuss what is an Salesforce object. So in the Salesforce object, we have fields. Those fields are actual the database table columns, and object is the database table, right? So one object can have multiple different columns, and those columns can be related to different department. So let's say there are few columns in the object, those are related to HR department, and only HR department needed those column. If they want to store some information, they will only utilize those columns. But if sales team will enter some information on that object, they won't put any information. They will leave those columns as blank. So we can decide based on the profile is HR. If HR team is basically logging and putting some information, they will be only able to see those columns to put the information. So whenever sales team will log in, we will not give the access of these columns to the sales team, so they won't be able to see or input give the input to those columns. So that you can decide. So let's say account is a table that we have in database. So if you will click on view, you will see here all the fields related to that account, and you can manage the access. If you want to give the read access, edit access for each and every column or every field, you can decide. So you can simply click on edit, and by just clicking on edit, you will be able to either check or uncheck these checkboxes, right? So this is your field level security, and by utilizing the field level security, you can manage the column access of a particular table to a particular profile, right? Let's go next. It is custom app settings. So as we discussed already, there are multiple apps here. If you will click on this app launcher, so you can see there are multiple apps. If you will click on view all, there are others apps we have in this, and you can also create some custom apps in this software. Those we will discuss later on as our course will progress, right? So based, let's say if you have created an app and that app can only belongs to an particular department, and it is only containing the things related to that department, so only that department user will be able to see that app. No other department should be able to see that app. So based on the user profile, you can manage the app access as well, right? Any question till now from anyone?
Yeah, I have just one
Question?
question regarding
Yeah.
user. So, as you said that we only disable the user, so is there any time frame till that time it is stay on a Salesforce database, or it's remain always?
Forever. You
Okay.
cannot delete a user. So you can only deactivate, but in deactivated mode, the user detail will always be there in Salesforce. So you cannot delete user data from your org. You will be able to see as in deactivated mode. As we just deactivated one user, right? So if you will go back and check user here, you will see that deactivated user will be there. Though the license is free now, you can create a new user by using that license, but um, that user is still there in your org in a deactivated mode. So if I will click on user, so we have deactivated this user. So if you will see here, this user is here, but it is not active. Data is there, but nobody can use. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move ahead. So this is custom app settings, and now there are connected apps. Connected app we will discuss as our course will progress. It is related to integration. So basically, every time a third party software is connected with your software, and if they want to make a connection with your org, and if they are making a call in into your org, then you will utilize these connected apps. So currently you won't understand it if you are not aware about any integration. So we'll discuss it in detail whenever we will study the integration part. So right now I'm skipping it. Now the tab setting. So tab setting is very important. As soon as as you can see here, every time you want to access anything, you have to click access an object, you have to click on these tabs. So these are the tabs, right? So you can also decide which tab you want to display for a particular user, right? You want to display for a particular user. So um, there are three options you have in for the tabs. One is default off and tab hidden, right? So if there is a default on setting is applied on any object tab, so you will see that tab directly from here. From this list and even in this list, right? So you will see if there is a default on setting is there, you will see that the tab is available here. And if there is a default off, Um, you won't see this here, but you can always pick that thing into here in this tab, right? We will discuss it by changing those, right? And the last thing is that, I mean, whenever uh, there is a tab hidden setting applied on that, then tab will be hidden for that user, even though if there is an access on for the object on the profile, but still if tab is hidden, uh, that particular user won't be able to see the tab directly from this screen. So we'll discuss, but this setting is belongs to these tabs, right? So we'll try to change the settings and we'll show you how it reflects to you. Okay. Now the second, the another thing we have here is record type settings. So we discuss page layouts, right? Page layout is nothing but just whenever you click on the new button, you can see these options are coming. So let's say earlier we discussed if we want to assign any page layout to for any object to any user, so you can you can always assign that page layout to that profile that is belong to that user. But let's say if you want to assign more than one page layout to a user, if they and you are giving them an access to switch between different page layouts, right? So you can use the record type to provide that switching accessibility to that user, right? So as you can see here, there are multiple record types. Those are available here. You can name it as whatever you want. So I'm just naming it to record type 1, 2, 3, 4, just to make it comfortable to you. So if you will click on record type 3, then a different layout will appear. You can see there are only 4 fields that you can give. And if I will go back and if I will say record type 1, you will see more fields available here. So you can now switch between the different layout, which one you want to give, which one you want to use to provide or save the data in your database, right? So we'll discuss it later on how you can create that and what all are the benefit, because there is one more thing that is in pick list value, but you won't understand it right now. So we'll discuss it later on when we will actually discuss record type, right? Any question till now? Okay, no questions. Then I'm moving forward. There are some administrative permission and general permissions. So administrative permissions, like there are multiple things we have in Salesforce org. If you want to give the access of those, let's say if there is an library object in we have in Salesforce, if you want to give the access of that library object, you can have it checked. If you want to give that access, there are multiple other things. Apex REST services, API enabled. API enabled means if you want to make a connection with any third party system, and if you want to make a callback to that system, you can utilize this. API only user, they can only connect with a different system via API. They cannot directly log in this software. So there are multiple other similar kind of permission we have in this administrative permission. You generally don't touch these permission much, but you do as and when required, right? So, and there are some general permission like access activities. These are the object, activate contract, activate orders, allow access to customize actions. So these kind of permissions you can always use, right? Okay. So these are the things that you can use. And allow view knowledge, archive articles. These are the general permissions that you can utilize. Now the important ones. So standard object permission, as I discussed earlier, there are two type of object in our Salesforce. I mean, not only object, we have whatever is provided by Salesforce, we call it as a standard. Whatever you do, I mean, you create that, we call it as a custom. So there are some database table, or you can say the objects we have in Salesforce, those are provided by Salesforce only. So you can manage the access if you want. The user belongs to this profile. If they can read the data that is already in the database table or within this object, if you will check the read permission, they will able to read. If you will check the create permission, they can create a new record. If you will check the add it, they will be able to modify the existing record. And if you will check the delete, they will be able to delete uh, the existing record. And there are some other permission, those are related to data administration, so we will discuss those when we will discuss data security. So these are the things. Then these we call as CRUD permission: create, read, edit, delete, right? So for every object you can manage whatever the user can do with these objects. If they want to create, read, edit, delete, all these permission you can provide by utilizing this. And similarly for custom object, right? So now session settings. Session setting is nothing, just you can manage if a user is inactive for a particular time. If you want to get your session expired, then you can manage your session timeout accordingly. So let's say if after 20 minutes you want to get a user session expired, if the user is inactive for 20 minutes, you can simply set up it based on that, right? Next, password policies. So you have password expire in 90 days, existing password will expire in 90 days, three password will be remembered, so you will not be able to reutilize these three password. And then minimum password length is 8. So all these things are related to your password policies. Password complexity requirement must include alpha and numeric character. Password question requirement cannot contain password as in word, right? Maximum invalid login attempts. Currently it is at 10, but Salesforce always recommend maximum login invalid login attempt should not be greater than 2. So you can manage whatever you want. Lockout effective period: if somebody is trying to log in your org, and if they are putting any invalid password, for how much time you want to log that org, right? So that they can reset their password after that, and they can re-log in if they want, right? So secret answer for password reset: if you want to use that, you can do that. Require a minimum 1 day password lifetime. Don't immediate expire link in forget password emails, right? So that these are the password policies that you can utilize. And then we have login hours. So login hours is basically you can decide in which hours a user can log in. So if you will click on edit, you will see here, so you can decide on Monday user can log in 9 to 5, Tuesday again 9 to 5, Wednesday again 9 to 5, and on Sunday and Saturday, if you want a particular user to log in only for 2 hours, or you don't want to log in them on Saturday and Sunday. So you can decide based on your company policies. So you can restrict user to log in between these windows, right? So these are the login hours policies. And if you will scroll down more, then login IP ranges. So you can provide login IP ranges. So if you will provide a IP range here, then user will not be able to log in outside of those IP ranges. So let's say, if there is a requirement, you only allowing a user to log in within your office premises. So you can simply give here the IP ranges for your office, and then they won't be able to log in even though they are carrying the laptop with them. And still they won't be able to log in Salesforce software outside of those IP ranges, right? So these are the things that you can utilize. And then other settings are related to development. We will, as soon as the course will progress, we will discuss these Apex class access and Visual Force page access, external data source access, name credential that we use for storing your API name. I mean, the endpoint URL and other things for integrations, and then external credential principal access, custom metadata type access, custom setting definition. All these things are related to integration. So we'll learn these in when we will actually learn the integration. So we have created this profile. Now you can go ahead and create a user, and you can you can reset the password, and you can try to log in with that user. So here we have this profile, so you can remember this profile name. You can put the user here. So if you will click on user here, so you can simply click on user here, and here on the new user button, you can simply click on new user button, and you can put the information here. Let's say if you want to create Salesforce, every every field in which we have the red line, that is mandatory, right? So you have to provide that information. So Salesforce I'm just giving it as June batch, right? Alias will come accordingly, and I'm just using my company email ID. Uh, just name it as your username should be unique. So just remember, whatever the username you are using, that should be globally unique, like your Gmail, right? So that's it. Here, role, I'm not using any role here. We'll discuss it later on when we will discuss data security. Currently in the user license, as we discussed, we need to use the Salesforce license to give the entire Salesforce org access. So now Salesforce license will only be available if you have any remaining license pending. So we discussed how you can check the remaining licenses. So we have one remaining license, so we can create this user. In the profile section, we created the profile for the Salesforce license. So you can see your profile should be available here. So HR team profile will be available here. Active checkbox is there. If you want to access the marketing related object, you can make your user as marketing user, offline user, knowledge user. All these things we will discuss as soon as our course will progress, right? Here there are some mailing addresses, single sign-on setting, federation ID we'll discuss when we will discuss single sign-on. So this will be utilized at time of single sign-on. And then there are some hierarchical relationship field. So this also we will discuss when we will discuss the relationships, object relationships, and then some local setting, a time zone, local language, all these things. And then if there is any approval process you have, so you can also use that. So we will discuss it. And generate new password and notify user immediately. It will send you an email. So every time you reset a password for a particular user as an admin, you can always check this checkbox, and the user will get an email and they can reset the password. So I'm just clicking on save. As soon as you will hit save, a user will be created here, but you cannot log in right now. You will get an email just to reset the password. Let me quickly see if I will get that email, then we'll let you know. Yeah, I got that email. I can show you that. This is the email that I got, right? And if I will click on verify account, what it will do is it will open this link in this here. And if I will put a new password for this user, I will be logged out from the previous user and will be logged in with the next user. So, and the username for this is this. So let's just do that because there is no other option. There is no link they provide right now. They are just providing a button so that you can click on that button. So you can reset the password for the new user. And here it is asking for the password. You can put the password here. There is a security question. So if you want to reset the password, you have to provide that security question. So you can always give it here. So I'm just giving mine. So as soon as you will click here, you will be able to log in on the new user with the new user that you have just created. So if you will click here on this name, you will see now you are logged in with Salesforce June batch user, right? Earlier you were logged in with this user that was created at time of org, but now you are logged out from that user. So uh, you won't be able to see that. You have to re-log in on an incognito or any other browser to check that user. So you can see here. And now in the user section also, you will see a new user is created and this is active. And if you will go back and check your company information, there will be no uh, license remaining here. We have utilized two. So if you want to again create a user, you have to either deactivate a current user or you have to purchase user license from Salesforce. So we created a profile, we created a user. Tomorrow we will try to log in with this new user and we'll see how this will behave if we will change things in profile, and then we will demonstrate that. And we will discuss another thing called permission set that is also related to your Salesforce metadata access. So that's it from today. Any question from anyone? I will give you 1 minute and you can ask your questions. This session is recorded, so I will deploy it on my YouTube channel, so you can always access it from there. My YouTube channel link I'm pasting here. There are other videos there, so we'll give you that. Let it load. So I'm just giving you my YouTube channel link. This is my channel. I'm just giving you this link to you. So I will upload this video here as an, I will name it as an June admin part 1, and you will see all the videos, all the class recordings you can access directly from this YouTube channel. So um, I've just pasted YouTube channel directly in here, right? So you can always use this. I'm assuming there is no question from anyone. You can do whatever we discussed today, and we'll come back again tomorrow at the same time, 9 p.m.
Sir,
and we'll discuss things. Yeah, Arun, tell me.
sir, is list view also a record type?
No, list view is used to just display the data.
Okay. So, okay, and later on
Yeah,
you
list
will
view we'll
teach it.
discuss later on.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Pragyansu, tell me. Pragyansu, you have raised your hand. Do you have any question? Who is logged in from Kashish? Okay, we'll discuss later on. Okay, guys, if there is no question, I'm closing this session right now, and we'll connect again 9 p.m. tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
You
Thank you, sir.